Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Adequate. Our ongoing mission, and shut up, our ongoing mission until we are cancelled and replaced by something far superior, because we are closely affiliated to Paramount, to review every episode and movie of Star Trek in existence, to seek out new and reoccurring guests and make them very uncomfortable. Hi. To boldly go where very many other Star Trek-based YouTube shows, including his, has gone before. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to a recorded episode of Trekking Up North. I am your host, Captain Goodwill, sipping the greatest beverage that the Federation has ever offered the galaxy, root beer. From
Not prune juice.
From my Obsidian Fleet cup. Thank you very much, Becca, for that. And joining me is the delectable Geesian from the planet Honk. Phil Mitchell wished he was as handsome as he is. It's Science Officer Synoiz.
He wished he was as tough as me.
And joining us from the fictional land of Tasmania, where it is 6:18 in the morning on a Friday, he has quite literally time travelled to the past, very much like the voyage home. And some might consider it is the voyage home because the fictional land is apparently a British colony, so he has technically made a voyage home through the past to Britain. It's Izaak.
That was a hell of a stretch, Goodwill. That was.
I didn't know you were talking about me.
Hello. Just his imaginary friend, just Goodwill's imaginary friend. Oh, and Isaac's here as well.
How are we tonight and this morning, gentlemen?
I'm actually fairly ill. I'm fairly ill. I'm wondering if my voice is going to hold out for this. And yeah, I'm very scatterbrained this week, which is great. So I'm going to be a lot of fun.
Izaak, how the hell are you this Friday morning?
I'm doing really well. This is my favourite Star Trek movie, so I'm really looking forward to talking about it with you guys.
Absolutely bloody brilliant. Let's get right into it, because we are here because it's the end of the month and we need to review a Star Trek movie. And the next one in line is Star Trek 4, or IV, Intravenous, The Voyage Home. Or, as is it more commonly known, the one with the whales. Yeah, the one with the whales. And not those types of whales, not the ones like, oh, my fanway, we've got to get to San Francisco.
That is how Gracie spoke, though. That is how the whales spoke.
I tell you what, Captain Spock, I'm up the duff. So the...
I just love the idea of like the whales just being like, what the fuck is happening?
The whales are Welsh. I love that.
About the whole thing.
Yeah,
I have seen more movies about whales than I have about the Welsh.
Wales.
Well, one of them
exist.
is real, and the other's just fictional and made up to scare children.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't eat your peas, we'll send you to Wales, so we will, my fanway.
I have seen a Welsh
this crazy language they speak, and you're just like, that's dyslexia. That's
What does this roadside mean?
I've seen a Welsh movie called Free Willy.
No, that's Star Trek 4.
Oh, that's what we're talking about, right? Cool.
Yeah. Star Trek 4. Get on the ship, you bastard.
I mean, admittedly, I watched the wrong movie. I watched the Voyage Homo, which was, similar plot, I think, but there was a lot more, He fixed the fridge, though, so it was educational.
I watched that one as well.
There we go. So, don't know what you're going to be talking about, Goodwill, but yeah.
See, I watched the Voyage Born. That was definitely Free Willy. But this was, up until 2009, the highest grossing Star Trek movie, earning over $100 million domestically alone, which is insane. And it was nominated for not one, but 4 Academy Awards in 1987. 4!
That's a lot of awards.
That is a lot of awards for that Foskers, as we call them in Yorkshire. Them Foskers. The Foskers.
Another fictional place.
What? Yorkshire?
No one's ever been to Yorkshire.
You shut your glorious mouth, you Mackham. But this is Isaac's favourite movie, and I think we would be remiss if we did not ask him to do a brief synopsis. We normally do a Synoiz synopsis, but we're going to do
a Synoiz.
A synopsis. A synopsis.
Synopsis. That sounds like a condition.
It does.
I've got 2 days left. It's just McCoy runs in and they're like, "What? Get out your butcher knives, you barbarians!"
The doctor said, "I need a quick synopsis."
Just rub it; it'll all be better.
Izaak, would you like to do a quick synopsis?
So am I doing a synopsis of what I think Synoiz would say about the movie, or am I doing?
No, you've only got 30. You've only got 30 minutes left, so let's not go on a Synoiz tangent.
I think it's the sort of thing of the wise thing is not to walk deliberately into the minefield. You know, it's like deal with it if you're in there, but don't
do a Diana. Yeah, don't do a Diana.
It's great advice in general. I'll take that. Okay, what I like about this movie is the synopsis doesn't do it justice. You listen to it, you think this movie is going to absolutely suck. So I'll give it a go. So it's the crew find themselves at the end of Star Trek 3 on the on the Vulcan homeworld, where they're trying to get Spock feeling a lot better about himself and remember stuff, get his confidence back, get his mojo back.
Yeah.
And he does some assessments with a computer which ask him how he's feeling, which he hates. They've still got a Klingon ship, and they're trying to go home. But what happens is there's a noise that's heard throughout the galaxy, which no one can interpret except for a really sick Spock who can go, "Oh, that's someone trying to communicate with the Welsh." So
the pronunciation's all off.
We don't have any Welsh around here.
The Welsh were bombed in 2049.
I kind of want this film to exist now, where basically they have to go back in time and find some Welsh people because the probe only responds to the different, Welsh.
Find me Rob Brydon, quick!
Yeah, that's it. Like, sound as if you're cheating at Scrabble.
Yeah. And so they do this slingshot maneuver around the sun, come back to the 1980s, and have a great time in 1980 San Francisco, where there's a few separate missions, one to find some nuclear vessels, one to find some whales, and there was another side mission too.
Obtain the materials to create a encasement. For the
everyone finishes their missions at the same time. They have a swim in San Francisco Bay. They go back to the present, which is the future for us, and save the whole galaxy. And Tarek's an asshole, and that's the movie.
There's also Klingons being an asshole.
Well, yeah, the Klingon ambassador is a bit of a prick, isn't he? In this one, this is considered the conclusion to the Genesis trilogy, as it has been called. And for me, Star Trek 4 had that immense crossover appeal. Not only was it right in the sweet spot of time-traveling movies, that was the mid-80s, you had Time Bandits, Back to the Future. It was a great crossover because Trekkies and non-Trekkies alike could watch this, follow the story, and have a good time. Because this, for me, is the first and probably only Star Trek comedy movie that we have ever had. It works on many, many levels. There are scenes in the movie that were completely unintentional, but that the cast fought to keep in because they just worked perfectly. And it sort of concludes everything in a nice, light-hearted way. Consequences have actions, and we are sort of reset. The crew is born anew. Earth is born anew. And there's a lot of messages to take away. Environmentalism, whaling, which is a massive one. Never hunt the Welsh because they will fight back. And basically how one feels is always good, but it's how where is your place in this world? And we see this a few times in this movie. We see where Kirk's place is in the world. We see where Spock's place is in the world, and we see where and I forget her name. I've literally just watched it. I
can't remember. She's just called Doctor.
the researcher from the Cetacean Institute, where she gets taken to the 23rd century. Where is her place? Tracy. Yeah.
No, it's Gracie's the whale. Can we just call it Trish?
Oh no, the sound effects!
This is delicious!
I apologise for that, everybody. The sound effects have come in. I
thought it was just my cat.
Hold on. I'm going to Google it. Is the woman in Star... What the hell? Yeah. Who is the woman in Starbucks logo? No Google.
Isn't it Gillian?
Star Trek
Gillian.
5
I'm sure it's Gillian.
Trish.
We can call her Trish, but I think it's Gillian.
Oh, it's brought up Tricia O'Neill, who plays Rachel Garrett in Yesterday's Enterprise, and I'm like, close enough. Not who I was meaning at all, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry about the sound effects there, guys. Nerdy Up North has been incredibly rude and is doing
those bastards.
Yeah, so I've just said, you will disable.
I'll get you, Lee.
I'm trying to be professional, you bitch. But yeah, you know, so it's her place in the world, and it turns out that she doesn't belong. She feels she doesn't belong in that era of the world, and decides to go forward because at the end of the day, they're going to need a cetacean expert to monitor the whales, and she's got 3 years
I guess she'll be in number 5 and number 6 as well, because she's, you know, done the ultimate sacrifice of leaving her whole life to be with Kirk in the future. So I'm sure that will pay off in the next movies.
Yeah, because, you know, like all of his love interests continue on throughout the series.
They don't get forgotten.
No, we don't just go, oh, well, that's another woman, onto the pile with you.
Yeah, it's one of Kirk's.
No, I do quite like, though, that her conclusion is her actually saying, no, Kirk, I'm going to go and explore the future. Like, we have that in DS9, don't we? Where Bashir helps that woman walk again, and then she just kind of goes like, oh, yeah, cool, I'm just going to go and do loads of cool stuff now, bye. You know, and you're like, oh, thanks for that. Is it?
People break up with Bashir all the time.
But yeah, that's it. Sensible girl, clever girl. But no, but I do quite like the other side of this, where basically Kirk, she says to Kirk, "Yeah, I'll see you around. I'll be in touch," and it's the total opposite of what we usually get, you know, which is basically them fawning over Kirk and then him just buggering off. So yeah.
Is this your first time watching the movie, Synoiz?
Yes, this is literally
wow.
It's so the problem is I'm convinced that I've watched all the Star Trek movies, and then I watch them and I'm like, if I have no recollection of this at all, and it's kind of fascinating because I'm gonna say I'm just gonna say it. It's a bold statement. This is my favorite. This is my favorite out of all of the ones that I've seen, including the next gen ones and stuff. Yeah, like. This movie is the most well-rounded movie that we've had so far. Yes. And all of my complaints about the previous ones that we've obviously already seen on the show are just fixed in this. Like, every single character has something to do. Every character has a great line or a great scene. Like, there's no sort of, oh, what do we do with Uhura? Oh, well, we'll just have her in the background or stuff. Like, oh, what are we going to do with Chekhov? Oh, he's going to be a victim for a bit. You know, everyone gets to do stuff and everyone gets to build their character, and then we even get like this non-heavy-handed character development on Spock. like, you know, where, like you were saying, it says like, how are you feeling? And his mum comes in, right, and she's like, oh, well, you've got to embrace your human side, don't you? Have a cuppa. And then he kind of works out how to, but it doesn't dedicate whole scenes to it. It doesn't dedicate the whole. It doesn't take things off track to be like, how is Spock getting through this? It works it into the narrative. Nimoy has done such a good job directing this. It's a masterpiece, and
Well,
it's crazy
even...
that this is probably the least Trek film while being the most Trek film.
Can I ask Synoiz if you read the synopsis before you watched it? And if so, did you think this is going to suck? And then you're 10 minutes in, like, oh, holy shit, this is the best film I've ever seen.
Yeah, the problem is this. I knew this one as the one with the whales, and I was very much like going, how the fuck is this going to work? And I was just like, how is a Star Trek film about whales? And I just didn't understand it. And then when it all unraveled, like, there is a leap of faith as to be like, okay, so this Deus Ex Machina, there is just a probe that is never explained, that is indestructible using technology that is never ever replicated again, who only wants to talk to whales and doesn't seem to factor in the fact that maybe races die, but for some reason it has a if whales don't respond, destroy the planet kind of mission, which is an interesting mission to have. Yeah, and it is just very, very strange, like the whole thing. But what it allows to happen, you know, like the whales are a plot device and they don't actually get that much screen time, which is quite bizarre. I think maybe their fee was too high or something, and they were like, look, you've got us for 3 scenes and that's it.
It's
no
those
more,
Welsh unions.
or I'm going to my trailer.
Yeah, the Welsh screen acting unions are just some of the most demanding unions on the planet.
They were the prettiest Welsh people I've ever seen, though. That scene at the end where they're swimming around in the ocean and stuff, I was just like, gorgeous.
The Screen of Wales Actors Guild, or SWAG, as it's known.
Oh! Oh!
If you are Welsh and incredibly angry about what we're saying on this podcast, please comment below and press the dislike button because it helps the algorithm.
If you are Welsh, then you should appreciate he got up at 6 in the morning. It's 6:33 in the morning in the fictional land of Tasmania, and he's just burnt you good. He is peaked for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has peaked. He doesn't even have to go to work after this now. He can just go to bed. He's earned that rest from burning the entire country.
If you're watching this, you can rewind it to the moment where I actually worked out that I could use that. There's a moment where
because unlike your language, there are some vowels in our brain. So the and the viewing figures from Wales go down.
All 4 of them have now left the chat.
It is lightning in a bottle, this movie, and everything wouldn't have worked. Like I think this movie would not have worked at any other point than 1986, because it was a sweet spot for action comedies, the sweet spot for time traveling movies. It was just before The Next Generation was about to air. So this sort of reignited the popularity of Star Trek and put it into the main public consciousness a little bit more. Yes, it's it's lovingly known as the one with the whales, but it just has not as many unique lines as The Wrath of Khan, but you've got nuclear vessels, you've got the whale noise, you've just got many things. Yeah, but you've got many things.
What was that, my fan way?
He was from the Twitch stream. He was the Twitch stream coming through.
That was a Twitch
double
stream
dumbass on you.
Double dumbass on you. I'm fine. They are the hell not your whales. The punk on the bus.
Can I just point out my favourite line of the whole thing, which is "Not now, Madeline."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that literally got me by surprise. Like, literally, they're just showing off this formula to this guy, and then and then she comes in. That's her whole bit of the whole film. That actress just has to walk through a door, and then she's like, "Ooh, ooh." I love that. I love that character. He only has that one. No, he has like 2 scenes, but
Computer.
it's just it's so funny. Like it's genuinely hilarious, and all the jokes land. It's just
Mm.
yeah.
Hello,
I think you
computer.
describe it right.
Hello,
Lightning in a
computer.
bottle.
Hello,
Mm.
computer.
Yeah, that's it. Hello, computer.
Just
Oh
use
my
the
god, I
keyboard.
love it. I love
A
it
keyboard, how quaint! And then he turns out to be the best keyboard warrior. You know,
Yeah.
Scotty is Apple certified on the Macintosh, where he's just absolutely creating this 3D formula. I love the fact though that we get this sort of like temporal paradox where they're just like McCoy's like, "Are you sure you want to give this dude the formula for transparent aluminum? Transparent aluminium."
Mm-hmm.
And Scotty just comes back and goes, "Well, how do you know he didn't invent it?"
Mm.
And it's just like, ah. But we do get
Which is the ultimate paradox, because I was kind
It
of like,
is.
did this guy research it and knows that this guy is the guy who historically invents it? In which case, it's very clever that he's like, hey, this is the person that we go to because, because that would actually be genius on Scotty's part if he went, hey, this guy's going to invent this anyway within like a year or two, so I'm just going to kind of speed up the process, or he does invent it and therefore we must be the ones who give him it. Like
Hmm.
but it's the answer for everything. Like when you have Enterprise and you have all of like the timeline stuff in that, where it's all very, everything is important, you can't change anything. In this one, they're very much like, well, we all die if we don't do stuff, so let's just play around.
It's sort of loosey-goosey with like temporal mechanics and temporal incursions and everything like that, because it's the way Kirk is selling the glasses because they need money. And and they go, wasn't that a present from Dr. McCoy? And there will be again. That's the beauty of it. And it's just like
I just love it. He literally got this present from Dr. McCoy, sells it in the past, and then Dr. McCoy will buy it again, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just,
but
how that genius.
But how weird would it be if the glasses that McCoy like gives Kirk, he bought from like a descendant of the antique dealer who restored the very same glasses? That is the greatest, the only temporal paradox is the glasses. That is it. The Welsh and the glasses. Did we ascertain that it was Gillian? The
What?
I still want to go with Trish.
I don't think it's
Gillian.
Trish.
It's Gillian.
Gillian. I love the diner scene. After Spock has mind melded with the Welsh, and they're just like, "I'm up the duff, Captain Spock." And
what in the restaurant, in the Italian
restaurant, and he's got his communicator, and he's just like, it's beeping and it's beeping. She's like, "Maybe you should answer that." "Oh, you got a pager," and he's just like, "President Stun, and wish him all the luck." And she's just like, "Okay, be honest." And he's just like, "I'm a captain. I'm from what you will call the 23rd century. We are here to rescue 2 humpback whales in order to repopulate the Earth." And she's like, "So you're some kind of you work at what? You're from outer space?" And he's like, "No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space."
Yeah. You know what I think is so refreshing is that this is, we've seen so many films where you have someone from outer space coming to Earth and they have the conversation with someone at some point of like, "Oh yeah, I'm an alien," or "Oh, I'm from the future," or something. And they're never quite believable. There's something about this where you're like, that's probably the most realistic way that conversation could go and have it go well. Because it's her doing the asking. It's her kind of working the stuff out rather than him kind of going, "I'm from the future, instantly believe me." And I kind of like it that she's just like, "Okay, that's a really silly thing, but I have no better explanation," and you're kind of proving a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of going, Kirk is not patronizing her. Kirk is sort of, he tries to have a cover at first, and it fails miserably, where he's just like, he said, Spock was at, what was it, Woodstock or something? He had too much LDS.
Yeah, suggests he's like a drug-addled hippie.
Had too much LDS.
Weird. LDS.
LDS. But then at the diner scene, he's unpatronizingly honest. And he does explain everything truthfully. And, when you look at the time travel movies at the time, You don't get that. You never got Marty McFly going, oh, I'm Marty McFly from 1985. I was sent back in a stainless steel car that some corrupt Irish person built. And it's sort of, do you know what I mean? But this was just like, oh yeah, I'm from the 23rd century. I was sent back, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, even when she drops him off, he's like, he's still getting information about George and Gracie. When are they going to get transported? If you need me, I will be here, you know, and I will be here. The only flaw in this movie, they beam into the ship when it's still cloaked.
Yeah.
Every other part of Star Trek, you cannot initiate a transporter when you are cloaked. Yet they do it here.
It is a very good point. Like, we also have the idea of they get very familiar with a Klingon ship very, very quickly.
And the bridge changes as well. Did you notice that from Star Trek 3 to 4? It's a completely different... So not only did they steal it, they renovated it as well.
They pimped it.
They pimped it. I mean, they didn't just slap on HMS Bounty. They completely redid it. Yeah. Savak changes as well.
She changes all the time.
From Kirstie Alley to someone less annoying.
Wait, isn't it the same?
Oh, she changes. She stages in 2 to 3, and then stays 3 to 4. Yeah. Sorry, my mistake.
But I must say I did massively prefer her in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think it was a more believable character as well.
Yeah, like it was more Vulcan, I think. Like I like the fact of when we get pure Vulcans in stuff, and obviously we get Spock's mum as well, and the juxtaposed of the family. Like we get to see, you know, obviously the next film we're going to see even more of Spock's family. But yeah, I think it's interesting.
So, you know, this isn't the only time that we see the technology that from the whale communicating planet species. Did they appear again in Star Trek?
Do they?
In which one?
So in Lower Decks season 4, they're in the credits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know where there's that battle in the credits where they go to a Borg ship and fire and then move away. Yeah. Every season they've been building on that bit where there's more things that are brought in, and you can see the tubular kind of thing with the white little tube that comes below it. It's the same. It's that species.
And they also use the posters for the movies to promote each season of Lower Decks. So
they do.
Unfortunately, it will end with Star Trek 5. So
it means that they have to use Star Trek 5 though too.
But how unsettlingly has this got alcohol in it?
Unsettlingly. No, I can't pronounce it either.
Ironic is that they will use the Star Trek 5 poster for season 5, and it will be their final frontier.
It has to be picked up by someone. It has to be saved, surely.
Of course it is, because apparently Paramount's run by a load of 28-year-olds who want rich daddies. So the I look.
It's true.
It's true.
But Izaak, like, what, you know, obviously you've got limited time before we lose you, sadly. But what are your favorite aspects of this movie?
Oh, I just love the fact that it shouldn't work and it does. So like none of this
peanut butter and jam, I guess. You jam eater.
That's right. None of the plot is appealing to me if you talk to me about it, as in this is what the movie's about. And yeah, as I kind of said before, you strap yourself in, you're 10 minutes into the movie, and you're like, this could be the greatest film I've ever seen. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, it actually is. This is brilliant. You have fun with it, as was mentioned before. Like, it's a funny movie. And it's great that it's not just a Kirk, Spock, McCoy movie, which a lot of them are, or a lot of their stories are. It kind of focuses on the big three. But this one, everyone has a role to play. And yeah, it's just like a celebration of the good things of Star Trek, along with time travel as well. It's just like the perfect cup of tea.
Like, you could have finished the series here. Like, you could have happily finished the series going, hey, we got to see everyone do the best they've done and be as fun as they can be, kind of thing. We got like a really heartwarming plot. You know, we got a really like nice full movie. And then at the end of it, we go, hey, Kirk becomes a captain again, and he gets to go on more adventures. And that would be the perfect time to end the series. But obviously, as Goodwill pointed out, it made a lot of money. So
yeah, I feel like it's a comfort food movie in a way. Like in reality, this isn't actually the best Star Trek movie. You've got another one coming that's great, Synoiz.
Yeah.
And even Wrath of Khan can fight this one as if it's a better story or film or not. But
Wrath of
this
Cat.
one from this is.
I can see a pussy. Is your pussy cloaked? Is that why it kept flickering out of? It kept phasing out of reality.
Why is Dr. Ta'ana in your room?
So I wanted to call this cat Trick, and my daughter wanted to call it Snow Blue. So we compromised.
Yeah.
This is Snow Blue.
Oh, that was a great
yes.
compromise. Yes, very diplomatic. Yes.
Yeah. So I forgot what my point was. Well, I was saying that this movie, shouldn't be the best, and there's arguments why the other ones are, but this one just leaves you a bit more happy and warm. So for me, if I was sick or having a sick day or just needing a pick me up, this would be in my wheelhouse of ones to pick. Yeah.
No, that's it.
And it's why I wore the shirt. I mean, you got to wear Hawaiian shirts if you want. Yeah,
exactly.
If you go. You go.
I had it where I was unsure about the movie until we got the scene where Uhura and Chekhov are like asking the cop where the nuclear weapons are. And just even out of the context of it, it being out of the 80s and it no longer being the Cold War, the idea of during the Cold War, a Russian in America just asking where the nuclear weapons are is just like the funniest little gag you could put into a movie. But it still works because of how the cop's just standing there just being like, what is this? What's going on?
This is the scene I was going to refer to. So when Chekhov is asking the cop where the nuclear vessels are, and that woman with the dog walks into the scene, and he asks her, that was not a paid extra. She accidentally stumbled into the scene as she was walking her dog. Walter Koenig approached her, ad-libbed and said, can you tell me where the nuclear vessels are? And she went, oh, I don't know, maybe the other side of the bay near Alameda. And he's going, that's what I said, nearly Alameda. He then made a beeline to chase her down to get her to sign a release, and then he went to Leonard Nimoy and Nick May, and he said, this needs to stay in the movie because it is perfect. And they kept it. So that entire scene, that entire shot, that was an accident because one person failed to find that it was a closed set, walking a dog. He caught her, asked her, she delivered a line, which was just beautifully like normal and genuine, and they kept it.
So what I'm imagining, right, is that 1980s Karen saw a sign that said, no one but important people beyond this point, and she's gone, that's me. I'm going to keep going with my dog.
I am a Californian in San Francisco, therefore I can go anywhere I want. And she did, and she's forever in the movie. But what's so funny about this... I love
that so much, though. The fact that I loved that scene, and I love that there was just a massive ad-lib in that scene.
What's so funny about it, because she accidentally walked into a live set and got asked about nuclear vessels, that enabled her to go to tons of conventions and sign autographs and get paid for it. Let that be a lesson to everyone. An accident can lead to a fruitful and prosperous future.
Well, that's what my mum said about me, so yeah.
Well, isn't the lesson talk to Walter Koenig whenever you get a chance?
Yes, that's
don't sit on the sidelines going.
I'm sorry, Isaac. I just keep laughing at your cat phasing in and out. It's just
she's transcending.
I just keep watching it, and it's like
she's transcending our reality. In
it's
terms
like the cloaking device keeps going off.
In terms of this movie and what happened in this movie, now this is probably the first time in God knows how long I'm able to ask this. Do you think this merits a second contact?
With Wales?
With the
With the
whole
Welsh?
idea. With the Welsh. With the whole idea of the Welsh. I know we get it in
let's
lower
never
decks.
go back there.
I know we get it with dolphins and lower decks, but do we need a second contact in regards to the humpback whales?
No.
No.
I wouldn't say with the whales. I would say with Gillian as a character and her progress. Like, she's definitely up for lower decks. Like, what the hell happened to Gillian and what did she do? She's probably been in a book or something in, Trek lore.
So,
and also, what the hell is the probe? That could be explored more,
Let me ask
I
you...
like the idea of coming back again, but not for that reason. And, they kind of actually did that when Voyager went back to what would have been the similar timeline had time kept going, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, this was made in the 80s. Voyager went to our present in Future's End. And that's a brilliant episode as well for the same kind of reasons. If you think about it, that's this movie, but without whales.
So, also as well, one final question, because we are pressed for time for this week's Trekking Up North, but I do have one final question about this movie. They only took 2 whales. How did they repopulate?
They took 3.
Yeah.
At least 3.
One of the whales was pregnant, and they were
related.
both a boy and a girl, so
All related.
they can get it on and make even more.
So we repopulated the cetacean population via incest. Is that what we are saying here?
Yeah.
Well, that's how we work with our royalty, isn't it?
Oh, I like that. But we don't need to repopulate the whales. We just need to have them available to listen to the song. They can die after that.
Okay.
I think though in the 23rd century, it's basically they'll have the technology to genetically modify the whales enough to basically go, hey, you're different now.
And
surely.
My final little tidbit for the voyage home, the reason why we got the Enterprise A, purely because Next Generation was in development, and that was set 100 years after the events of the original series, and they called it the Enterprise D. So they needed an Enterprise A to carry on the lineage. Little tidbit, that was the Yorktown that was mentioned earlier in the movie, repurposed as the Enterprise A after Captain, I can't remember his name, but he tried to do a solar sail.
Didn't Synoiz say earlier that the Yorktown's not real?
No, that's Wales.
It was Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Yorktown is in...
Yorktown's totally real. I've heard of that.
Yorktown is in Yorkshire, and both of them aren't real.
I do quite like, though, at the end where they're basically talking about the ships and like the Enterprise, and basically and Scotty is just like, Excelsior, why would we want that bucket of bolts? And because he just hates this modern ship.
Yeah.
And it's a nice callback to the previous films of the trilogy, I think.
Up your shaft.
I think I've got so much more to say about this. Can we keep talking about this after Isaac's had to go?
Yes, we can.
People say that. Absolutely fine. People say that all the time. Can we keep talking after Isaac's left?
That's it.
Isaac.
Thank God he's gone. Christ.
Isaac, while we have got you then, what would you like to promote? What is happening on Unplanned Trek?
Oh, well, Unplanned Trek has been doing a lot recently. We've been doing our 50 Shades of Trek project, which is counting down the 50 sexiest moments of Star Trek, one week at a time. Or as I like to call it, is it Sub Rosa this week?
When Sub Rosa, Daddy.
And what we've been doing at the moment is we've taken a little break from that, and we're actually been doing the latest season of Discovery, which has been really interesting and opportunity for a lot of humor along the way. So our podcast, what we do is, rather than review and walk through the plot of an episode, what we do is we're looking at opportunities to give out awards and points to things that happen in an episode. So we're looking at the best 3 characters, worst 3 characters, any romance, fighting, food, and people dying. We tally them all, push them out on X with leaderboards, and every episode matters. It doesn't matter if it's a good one or bad one. As long as these things are happening, we can give points and awards out.
Yeah.
Indeedly do, and I have been so happy to be part of their disco review so far. Sometimes at the camera, sometimes behind the camera, building Lego, losing my hair. But I've been there, watching, judging, building, constructing, singing.
Can you make that sound any more sinister?
Yes.
I've been there, watching, building.
If you are not a subscriber of Unplanned Trek, well, I seriously suggest you need to head down to the description below, find the link for Unplanned Trek, and whilst you're there, find a link for something called the Shuttle Pod Show. And
Never heard of that.
Subscribe to them as well, because me and Izaak are also on that channel as well, aren't we, Izaak? Yes. And we are doing some very top secret things for that channel that will be revealed very soon. Very, very soon. And I could reveal one of them is a podcast. So that
I'd never have guessed.
I know. What else would it be? But no, please subscribe to Unplanned Trek, subscribe to the Shuttle Pod Show, because they are all, as Khan would say, one big happy fleet / podcast. But I think it's time for Izaak to say goodbye. Don't you, Synoiz?
I think if we asked in the live chat, they would have said that a while ago.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
was that jam-eating bastard in the...
No, thanks
Why
very
does he
much for having
sound
me on.
Australian?
I'm looking forward to watching the rest of this when it's out. So,
I can't wait for you to see the cat phasing in and out. Because
Yes.
it's brilliant.
It's wonderful.
It's the fact that you're also framed as though the cat was always going to be there. Like the cat was expected to sort of come in.
I think I blew the entire budget with those phasing sound of visual effects. But yeah, checks in the mail, guys. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. And love what you guys do. You guys rock. Really appreciate it.
Live long and prosper, Izaak, and we will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Miles. Boop. And he goes. And we're back to two
Hey, you did
screen.
it.
Look at this.
I love that you. I was like, he's gonna have to play around with the cameras when we go back to two things.
Nope.
Nope. It worked.
Nope. I will have to when we do the double wheel.
Oh, what have you
But
done? Oh,
I blame Izaak. Anyway,
it's my fault because I'm the one, because I've got a gig tomorrow is the reason why this is pre-recorded. So it was the idea of going, hey Izaak, could you be on, and could you also do it at a really weird time for you, because we all have work and everything.
we are all extremely busy in our own little ways, and some of us can't talk about it, some of us don't want to talk about it, and others are just like, we are sick of talking about it.
Some of us could talk about it forever, but no one wants to hear that shit. So that's why I don't talk about it.
Okay, we get it. You don't want to know about my life. Anyway, what?
I'm talking about me. I want to know
not.
all these delicious shuttle pod show secrets.
No. What? What else do you want to mention about the Voyage home?
I think it's just the idea of, like, this is a very strange film because there isn't an antagonist.
Yeah.
Star Trek always has an antagonist. Like, it's whether it's like the Borg Queen, whether it's whoever the fuck Tom Hardy's character was in that terrible movie.
Shin Zon.
I know.
Sorry, I'm just going to reshape your head.
You know what I hate about Unplanned Trek? It's the fact that...
Wow, okay.
What I hate about Unplanned Trek is they've made me like Shinzon, because of how funny they've made him, like, because of what an amazing character they made. And they made him better than the actual Shinzon that exists in Trek lore.
Wow.
And I'm kind of like, oh, damn it, now I like him.
What is wrong? What is wrong with Tom Hardy?
How long have we got?
As long as you like. Oh, so did the many sizes of Synoiz.
Look at the side. Oh, I'm gonna get over here. Now I'm out of the No, don't.
You keep centered, you
baby
bastard.
in a corner.
Keep centered, you bastard.
Hold on.
Oh, so he doesn't. You bitch. You bitch.
Okay, I'll lean over here.
There we go. That's fine. That'll do. Right.
And then we don't use it. There we go.
No, we don't use it. No. We know what we're doing next week. It's fine. So, Just showing you how the sausage is made. But go on.
But yeah, no, I just thought it's like a brilliant film because it doesn't have an antagonist, and yet it still has this kind of threat throughout. So it has scenes that are threatening and situations that are threatening, like where they're on the nuclear sub and like Chekhov gets like arrested and whatnot, or where like they're not sure if they can catch up with the whales, and then where the whales are going to be torpedoed. Is it torpedoed?
Harpooned.
No, harpooned at the end and stuff.
Torpedoing a whale sort of defeats the object.
Is there anything left of it? Nope.
Captain, he's from Cardiff. Get the torpedoes!
They just have it where they've just got buckets to catch what's left of the whale. That's it. Just really wasteful hunting. It's like, remember that in South Park where it has like Stan's uncle going hunting and he's using grenades and stuff, and you're just like, okay, that's... You're missing the point, I think.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. But no, there's just so much I love about this. Like I obviously me complaining about like Scotty and McCoy not really getting like a lot of action in the previous films and stuff, and like even Sulu gets like his own little scenes. I mean,
Sulu
I don't fully
flies
understand.
a Huey.
Yeah, that's it. But I don't get what his mission was, because obviously we don't get told specifically what their missions are. We know that the jobs that need to be done, but we just kind of see them doing it, and we go, "Oh, Sulu's meant to get transport to take the."
So what they do,
yeah.
So it's sort of because Sulu is the con officer, he is the pilot. So that task force is designed with designing not a cage, but sort of like an encasement to hold the whales plus the water. So that is Scotty, McCoy, and Sulu's thing. So
yeah,
with Scotty, he's the one who was in charge of blagging its way to get the perspex or the transparent aluminum to construct, to thing. McCoy is there to ensure that the whales are healthy when they are there in the tank, and also there to be Scotty's assistant to blag the way. And then Sulu is in charge of transporting the materials to the bird of prey. Now, where Sulu found a Huey in the 23rd century, learned to fly this ancient aircraft, and then somehow talked a random gadget into going, "Oh, hi, you don't know me. Can I borrow your helicopter with no identification, security deposit, or anything at all? Okay, bye." And it's a plot hole, shall we say. But every character has a role to play. You've got Uhura and Chekhov trying to secure that. You then get the hospital scene, which is quite comedic and quite sort of McCoy again, where it's just like when he goes to that old woman and she's like, "I'm on dialysis," and he's like, "God damn Stone Age," and he just gives her a pill to grow a new pancreas or a new kidney, and it's just like, and the conversation in the elevator where he's just like, "How would you diagnose this, doctor?" And he's like, "I wouldn't be using goddamn Spanish Inquisition Stone Age shit," and Kirk's just like, "He's having a bad day," and it just goes back out.
But this is what I mean, though. Every character gets to be the best version of themselves. Like, you know how like this makes me like Kirk, because obviously in the original series I get pissed off all the time whenever we watch any original series episode, because he's so heavy-handed with the what's it called, machismo like vibe,
masculine overtones. Yeah.
And it's just this idea of he's like, I'm going to just take what I want, and I'm going to be unruly and a dickhead and stuff. This is the first time I think we see the Kirk that Kirk needs to be for Star Trek, which is basically that he's very compassionate towards Gillian and whatnot. He's very understanding of everything. He's fully there with the needs of his crew and whatnot, and he doesn't act rash at all. Like, there's no point in this film when he's just like, let's do a crazy thing. It's always, and this is it. This is him being the best captain that I've seen him be yet.
Do you find that from the Genesis trilogy, as we will call them, that the experiences he has gone through has made him a better captain and a better human overall. Do you think that these 3 films are the redeeming arc for James T. Kirk?
Yeah, that is exactly how I would phrase them. And I don't know if it's intentional, if this was actually what they wanted with them. But with the whole, in Wrath of Khan, where it's the idea of him dealing with the consequences of his actions, of going like, hey, you've got a son and whatnot. And then obviously at the end of that going, hey, Spock is dead. Like, like your actions have caused, like, your best friend to die. And him realizing that, it's not all a big game anymore. And then obviously in the third one where we basically see him,
his bluff is being called,
yeah,
and it results in him losing his son. So his actions that have proved successful in the past, in the original series and in the previous movies, do not work because he's up against an adversary who can see through that, who is more, let's be honest, is more cleverer to a certain extent than Kirk. So again, his actions have those sorry for the sound effect, everybody. But those,
I can't hear them. It's just you that can hear them, but they'll probably show up on the recording.
But his actions
check out the Nerdy Up North Twitch channel.
Yeah, check out the Twitch channel. North.
It is very fun. If you're enjoying these sound effects as they're coming in, it is brilliant. I think Lee is playing. I think he's playing games with his girlfriend at the minute, which is quite fun.
I love the fact you said girlfriend at the minute. Like you were about to.
No. That's not where the comma was. But until me, homewrecker as I am, step in there.
We all know where the comma should be. But we see that he, his bluff is being called and he's lost his. And then with 4, he's sort of taken these experiences and it's made him a more thoughtful, a more compassionate, and a more cautious captain, to the point where, yes, he will still take the risks, but he will not go to the lengths that he did previously because he now knows that he has spent all of his life cheating death.
Yeah.
And now he realizes that he is not as infallible as he thought he was. And they have changed him fundamentally as a human being and as a captain.
I mean, effectively, it's like getting older. Like, it's the sort of thing, like, I was realizing this about my dad the other day, that my dad is very much used to being, because my dad has very good genes, and it's the idea of he's gone his whole life without having various problems and stuff. Is there more sound effects?
No, I asked because you said your father had good genes, and I said, "Are they Wranglers?" And you just completely
I didn't hear you say
ignored the goddamn joke.
They will be Primark rubbish. That's what they will be. My dad is not going to spend money on Wranglers jeans.
Primark, I'll have Primani, as we call it in the north.
But he's. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, no, but he's as he's getting on now and stuff, he's realizing, I can't do all of the stuff I used to be able to do, and I can't rely on that as much as I used to do, and you kind of go, hey, cool, when you can't rely on your physical strength or your health, then you just go, I need to find different ways to do things and whatnot, and it's a sobering experience. And that's kind of what we see from Kirk in this, where it's this idea of going, yeah, you were youthful and you had luck, and you had a lot of, luck. Like the fact that like half these missions didn't go pear-shaped because of the way that you were doing them and how rash you were being, and that you weren't getting called up on consequences. And then in this, this trilogy, we basically go, yep, you're an admiral now, and this behavior won't be tolerated. And, look what happens when you act rashly in this kind of situation. And so it's kind of like therapy, this trilogy, because it basically, he goes into it. He's no longer a captain. He's an admiral. He's been relegated to a desk job, effectively, going, hey, cool, you're in retirement. Just sit down and do this. He's doing the training center, I think it is, in the first one. But then now it's basically, it ends with him going, cool, I've learned my lesson. I know how to do things now. I've become a better person. And then he goes back into the job that he wants to do,
But this is the thing, like, even at the start of the movie, you can see how much of a better person he is, because they are preparing to go back to Earth to face the consequences of their actions for stealing the Enterprise, for sabotaging the Excelsior, for traveling to the Genesis planet and doing what they needed to do to save their friend. And this is a Kirk where he's like, we will do this. And obviously the crew are behind him, but he wanted to face those actions alone and say, I am solely responsible for everything that has happened. And even when we get to the hearing at the end of the movie, where his entire crew step with him, and then Spock steps with him as well, because Spock, you know, these are my crewmates, and I want to stand with them. And for me, it's sort of the ultimate redeeming arc. It's the ultimate full circle for the development of James T. Kirk. And we see at the end where this is the end of a trilogy where Kirk had lost his way in the world. He got promoted. He didn't want the promotion. He shouldn't have taken the promotion. And it left him feeling unfulfilled. And we addressed this in previous movie reviews, where a promotion is not necessarily a good thing for you. It could be, if you want a promotion and if that is what you are striving for and you feel fulfilled from it, great. However, there are some people where the next step up on the ladder leaves them more empty than where they were. And sometimes the pursuit of, I mean, obviously not in the 23rd century, but for, you know, to ground this in realism, the pursuit of happiness is not always a bigger income. It's not always more responsibility. It's how you feel inside. It's what makes you content. And if you look at, I'm going to sound like a dick, but if you look at...
This is the big problem with a society that tells you these are the rules you need to follow.
Yeah.
These are the things you need to achieve. And this is why we have this horrible thing where we have so many straight men who are like, oh, I've got to find a wife and I've got to have some kids and I've got to get a high paying job and I've got to do this, that, and the other. And otherwise I'm doing life wrong. And it's like, there are no rules. There is no correct way to do life. Just be happy and be able to do each day after the next. If you're doing that, then you're winning at life, basically. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to, have whatever lofty goals like, magazines and television tell you need to have,
If look at me, I have a full-time job. Okay, I'm not going to be big-headed, but I am rather good at my job. But it doesn't make me happy. Doing this makes me happy. This does not pay the bills, but this is fulfilling. Because
we get pizza occasionally, though.
We get pizza occasionally when Paul has finished embezzling all the funds. But the that Cayman account is amazing, by the way, guys.
I love this idea. We're just trying to spread this rumor that like Paul makes millions.
Oh, it's no rumor. It's no rumor. But it's the fulfillment I get from this is infinitely more than what I do in my full-time job, and that's I'm not crapping on my full-time job. It is satisfying. But for me, my personal fulfillment is sitting here talking about something I love with one of my mates, having a laugh, meeting new people, and just celebrating what Star Trek means to us. That for me is fulfilling, and I feel content in doing that. And with Captain Kirk, he was an admiral. He was not fulfilled. His destiny, his last best destiny, as Spock said, is out gallivanting in the stars. It's exploring the galaxy. And we see at the end of this movie that his consequences of actions, he saved the planet, and instead of booting him out of Starfleet or putting him in prison, they essentially relegate him to the role that he is best at, a captain, and they give him a ship. Because even the organization goes, this person should not be in this role because his greatest asset is being this. And he is fulfilled, and we mutually benefit from him being in that role. And even so far as in Star Trek Generations, where they're having Picard and Kirk are having a conversation, And Kirk goes to Picard, Captain of the Enterprise. He goes, are you close to retirement? No. Thinking of promotion? No. Well, don't. Don't let them do anything that takes you out of that chair, because while you are there, you can make a difference. So Kirk is, even after he's retired, he fully realizes that that is the best destiny for him, and people like him. So for me,
that's the thing. It's like you say, you don't need to go into management if you enjoy the day to day. Like, and I think that's wonderful that I've got so many friends who are like, hey, what I actually enjoy is just doing this. Like, like, because I what is it? One of my big boss at work, like, they start off as like a coder, and they're just like, I barely get to code anymore, and my day is just constant meetings. And he gets paid shit tons, and he gets to do all this crazy stuff, but he doesn't get to code anymore. And and it feels a bit like, oh, this isn't kind of what I got into the industry for. But it's and he does an incredibly good job of it, considering that he doesn't find it particularly fun. But it's this idea of just going, like exactly like you say, like Kirk says in Generations, don't let them take you out of that chair.
We are not, I mean, you can do whatever you love, guys. We're not saying don't do that, and we understand that obviously people have bills to pay and jobs are important, but always have something, even if it's a hobby, even if it's something small, as long as it makes you happy and you are fulfilled from that, then you can be the best person you can be.
As long as it's not murder, by the way. I just need to put that caveat in.
Or a Conservative Party member.
Or voting Conservative.
Yeah. Fuck the Tories. It's what makes you you, and whatever you like, don't let anyone judge you. If you like trains, you like trains. If you like cars, you like cars. If you like Babylon 5, what's wrong with you? But still, you do you. And if it fulfills you and it makes you happy, don't let anyone else shit on it. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Fuck Babylon 5. But if it makes you happy, then continue on with it. Star Trek makes me happy. Star Trek makes Synoiz happy. Overall, first time watching this movie, what do you think, to summarize?
I think this movie was absolutely amazing, and I think it's the sort of thing of, obviously, when I complain about Discovery, it's because it doesn't feel like an ensemble cast. It doesn't feel like we have characters. It doesn't feel like it doesn't have this warmth to it. It has this kind of cold danger to it, I think, like more like a thriller than a sort of comfort
a warm
movie. That's it. And this is basically Trek at its warm huggiest, as in there isn't really a threat throughout the whole thing. There isn't an antagonist. It's just fun scenes, great characters, hilarious lines, and everything about it is just absolutely lovely and quirky and stuff. And I think that's wonderful. Like, it made me feel good watching it. And I think there's something really special about that. And there's so much. One thing I will say, can we find who did the costumes for the movies? I know Monster Maroon is great, but the scene with the Vulcans at the beginning, where they've got the ship. Why are they Smurfs? Why are the Vulcans, like the most logical people in the entire world, why do they look like Gargamel's about to steal and eat them?
Right. You say this, yet Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home won. I'm trying to find the award now.
Paris Fashion Week.
Won the 1987 Saturn Award for Best Costumes, because Robert Fletcher designed the costumes.
What other movies came out in 1980? What that year?
1986. A lot. This is the
no other movies.
So the Academy Awards. It was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, never won, obviously. It was nominated for cinematography, original score, sound, and sound effect editing. It was nominated for a Hugo for best dramatic presentation. It was nominated for 9 Saturn Awards, and it won one. It nominated for Best Makeup, Best Special Effects, Best Writing, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Director, Best Science Fiction Film, and Best Costumes. It won for Best Costumes, and it also won the ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards for Top Box Office Film. So it won that as well, because, like I said, it was the Thanksgiving movie of 1986, and it topped the box office. So it absolutely,
that's incredible that it did so well. And I will admit, some of the costumes in the film are good, but we can see them now. They were just on the screen. The Vulcan costume is bollocks. And I will say at the end, where we basically get to see everyone at Starfleet, and we get to see loads of alien races that will never be shown again, where we see an
Lower Decks. Yeah.
We see in Andorian, we see one of the cat people. We see, I have no idea. It's like a baby with a massive head. Did you see that one?
Oh, yes, two of them. I can't remember
what
the race.
It feels like Noah's Ark, this scene, because there's two of everything. It's like as if they need to repopulate the galaxy after they've saved the Earth.
I have a book about the production and the design of Star Trek 4, and I can't for the life of me find it because it's somewhere in this blast crater of a house.
It feels like they raided the Doctor Who wardrobe department. Like they just said, what have we got? What looks like an alien? Let's just chuck. Look, we'll have E.T. in the background somewhere, you know.
So, to summarize for me, this is one of my favorite Star Trek films. It made me fall in love with San Francisco. A love that never died, despite the current situation in San Francisco. Hopefully, it will bounce back very soon, I hope. But it reignited it gave me my love of San Francisco. It introduced comedy to Star Trek on a level that was executed so perfectly. So we had dramatic scenes, but we also had the comedy where the beats were just absolutely spot on. The bit at the beginning
compared to the first one, where you just this is not how you land a joke, you know.
Like when McCoy and Spock are having a conversation on the bridge, and Spock just goes, "Excuse me, Doctor, I'm receiving a number of distress calls," and just McCoy just goes, "I don't doubt it," and just walks away.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because it's alluding that Spock is absolute barn pot, and he's not. He's literally receiving a number of distress calls. And
we get an amazing scene like towards the end or whatever, where it's like McCoy and Spock, like where he's talking about guessing and whatnot, and it's the joy is because they're always at odds length. Odds is that the term? They're basically always at each other's throats. At odds with each other. And it's wonderful though, because you know we get these little moments where you just go, but they are friends, and the reason they're at each other's throats all the time is because they are friends. And you know this film has loads of little moments like that, being like, yep, you know, and like we say, warm hug.
Warm hug. That has been our review of...
One last question.
Oh my God.
What do you think the whales were saying to the probe? Like, I like the idea that when the whales finally get to speak, they bring them into the future, they put them in the ocean, they start speaking to the probe. I like the idea that the whales are just like, kill them all, or execute Order 66. But
I don't have a BT phone line. I'm with Virgin Media, but please, thank you for stopping by and calling. Take care now. Bye then.
Excuse me. No, I wasn't. I wasn't planning to renew my contract. That's fine.
No, I don't have a car. Yeah.
Maybe it was just something like just very like where whale language is Welsh. Sorry, is like is like Entish, where it takes a very long time to say anything, and effectively the whole scene is just them being like, "You're all right, hon? Yeah, I'm all right." And then the probe's like, "Okay, go off."
Isn't that in Finding Nemo, where Dory's just like, "Oh, I speak perfect Will. Hello there." It's just like,
That's all it is. It's just.
Oh my!
But
dear.
I do quite like the idea of the probe just being a cold call.
Yeah, it's a cold call. It is
Have
absolutely.
you
a cold
been
call.
injured as the result of an accident at work?
Do you realise you're
No.
entitled to up to £6,000 in compensation for missold PPI? But
I just love it. That's the whole thing, you know.
that's the whole thing. I highly recommend to anyone who has not seen 2, 3, and 4 to watch them as a trilogy. You don't have to have ever seen Star Trek. You could literally, this could be your jumping off point to Star Trek. You will get it, you will understand it, and you would get what Star Trek means to people from these 3 films. We have got action, we have got loss, we have got sorrow, and we have got comedy. You know, it is this trilogy is the ultimate trilogy of emotions, I would say. And we see Captain Kirk go from this brash, cocky, dickish person to a well-rounded human being by the end of Star Trek 4. And I like that. So
I also like in the diner scene, I totally forgot about it, but we basically, I think she orders my pizza. Like, what does she get on the pizza? Because my standard pizza is mushroom, pepperoni, and onions. And then I'm like, yeah, and then she orders something, and I'm just like, that sounds amazing. I'm pretty sure that's what I have usually.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's
I also
it's a
like
top
that we
Google
get-
search.
I also like that we get Brock Peters in this as the Admiral. He comes back in Undiscovered Country, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He does. He does.
Now, I will say, it's a bit of a shame because I'm not a fan of Joseph Sisko, who's the character that he plays in DS9, but it was nice seeing him again.
Gillian Taylor
Yeah.
orders a large mushroom and pepperoni pizza with extra onions and
Yeah.
a glass of beer.
That is woman after my own heart. The
It was
future
going
needed
so well. It was going so well, and then onions got introduced.
Onions can be quite good on pizza because they soak
No.
up a lot of the flavor.
No, you are so wrong. I had a. What did I have? I went to a Mexican restaurant for the first time in my entire life, and I had a burrito fajita.
Mm.
And
How does that work?
It's essentially just a brick of meat wrapped in a wrapped in a
meat brick.
wrapped in a bread wrap.
Yeah.
And it was delicious, except it was the thickest cut of onion I have ever encountered. Essentially, what they had done is cut an onion in half, claimed it was layers, and then just inserted it. And I'm not the biggest fan of onions, and holy shit, this was just like the cut was that thick, and the slice was that thick, like that wide.
Bloody hell.
And it just like you were just pulling it out like a tapeworm out of this. And
that is the most horrible analogy I've ever heard.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it was nice, just too much onion. So it was going so well until onions were mentioned on the pizza. Is there anything else you would like to add before I answer this incoming transmission?
I know. I'm sorry. I just keep wanting to talk about it because I'm ill and whatnot. But yeah, no. What's the silly notes I've got? I wanted a Tuvix situation at the teleporter. You know, where she jumps on him and teleports with him, and I was like, please be some kind of horrendous transporter
like
accident.
Gillian Kirk's a jerk.
Jerk. There we go. That's what they become. And then one random thing. This is just something that made me laugh. In the credits, the song that the punk plays on the tube that obviously gets referenced in Picard season 2, I think, is called "I Hate You," and the man who wrote it is called Peter Thatcher, I think. Yes. And the problem is, I immediately read it as "I hate you, Thatcher," and I was like, I can get behind this.
Fun fact, 2 fun facts. That song was specifically written for Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home. And the punk in season 2 of Star Trek Picard is the same punk from Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
Yeah.
They'd found him, they had brought him back, and he had the same fate as he'd done 40 years earlier in 1986 in 2024.
Which I love it. Like, for all how unbrilliant season 2 of Picard was, I love that it had that bit of fan
It had a great
service
little nod. It was a great little nod. However, I lost Gabrielle Rios. But I did get Todd Stashwick, so Liam Shaw. Right.
Rios. So much more could have been done with that character.
Yes. Anyway, enough about my man crushes. We are receiving an incoming transmission.
Incoming transmission.
Miles? I just watched just the other day because I was really ill like 2 or 3 days ago. I can't remember. Time is a bit blurry at the moment. I was watching my comfort show DS9, and we got the episode with the Bajoran Thanksgiving ceremony. That is the episode that I want us to get on the wheel, because what a crazy episode. We literally have Lwaxana Troy, we have Keiko O'Brien at full evil, at full strength evil. We get, we get Bashir, we get everyone making out. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
I want a Deep Space Nine episode. But before we get into that, everybody who is watching, welcome to the double wheel of episodes.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hello there. Hello you. Oh, you. What are you? No. Take that out. Take it out.
What? Get it out, Goodwill.
Slowly, but take it out.
You don't need to tell me twice.
You don't have to throw up in my mouth twice. Welcome to the double wheel of episodes. If you are new to Trekkin Up North, why are you starting with episode 57? The double wheel has every episode of Star Trek programmed into it, bar 50% of the series. Because
but certain shows, because... Well, this is the thing I was talking about, because I'm going to be a guest on Unplanned Trek at some point soon and stuff. And he was like, and Izaak was like, do you want to wait until we finish doing Discovery? And I'm like, that's probably for the best. So it's...
Disco is a wonderful ride of emotions, and that is the nicest way I can put it, because I put it to your first time being intimate with someone, because you're just like,
Dad?
So
No, that's probably the most succinct.
Reverend Smith, no. But we
Papa?
What are you doing? You're not a priest, let go of me. We
I think we might need to just spin the wheel, to be fair. What episode are you watching?
We spin the wheel.
DS9.
We spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on, me and Science Officer Synoiz review next week. That is the gist of it. He wants a DS9 episode. I want a DS9 episode, which probably means we're going to get a Season 1 Next Generation episode, because fuck my life.
No, we're going to get original series. But at least if we get original series, we can talk about, like, the difference between Kirk then and Kirk in these movies.
And I can wear a T-shirt, which is much cooler than wearing this very hot velour bomber jacket. We spin the double wheel. We spin it. We gain massive amounts of anxiety. And when it stops, we yell at the top of our lungs, Dabo! And you all have to type it in the comments, Dabo. You have to type it in the live chat, Dabo. You have to text me, Dabo. Yeah. You have to send
any animals in your house, scream Dabo.
Scream Dabo.
Make them understand.
You need to send us a Discord message saying Dabo. You need to send me a tweet saying Dabo. You need to send me a Facebook message saying Dabo. You need to find me on MySpace and message me saying Dabo. If you see me on LinkedIn, you need to collaborate with me on LinkedIn and say Dabo.
Write it on a bit of paper, tie it to a rock, chuck it at him.
Chuck it at my face. If you see me on Blue Sky, you say Dabo. If you see me on Threads, you say Dabo. If you see me walking down the street with another man, turning the other cheek, I'll just pass you by. You can make me whole again. Say Darbo. That was an Atomic Kitten reference. Yes, I am that old. If you could tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. You yell Darbo.
Dabo.
Are we ready?
I was. I don't know how I am now, but right. Okay.
In 3, in 2, in 1, and we spin the wheel, and it's spinning, and I've already seen some episodes I really want to review. Oh,
Box brain.
Dabo! Star Trek
Wow.
Voyager, Blood Fever.
Okay, it's not anything that we wanted, but I'm happy, you know.
Blood Fever is the episode from Star Trek Voyager's Season 3, Episode 16. This is a randy episode. I think this should be a contender for 50 Shades of Trek, for Unplanned Trek. B'Elanna Torres experiences symptoms similar to the Pon farr after being attacked by Ensign Vorik, who is undergoing the blood fever. Ensign Vorik, by the way, is the same actor who played the Vulcan ensign in Lower Decks season Star Trek season 7 episode Lower Decks. Why they didn't just keep the same character?
It's another one where it's like, you know, Tom Paris thing where you're just going, why did they not just keep the character? Because that I remember being like, why can't he be the same person? Or like,
yeah.
You know, even when you have Tim Russ, where he's in Next Generation, you're like, can't we say that he was undercover when he was like that and it was the same character or something? But, you know, missed opportunities.
Missed opportunities, but next week on Trekking Up North, we will be reviewing Blood Fever. I don't know if we're going to do it live. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know what our schedule is. But let's return to the two-person screen.
Yes, sit up a bit more now.
Wow, that has been our review of Star Trek for the Voyage Home. I would like to thank the delectable fictional character of Izaak from Unplanned Trek for joining
He's not real. He's all AI generated.
Bless his little cotton socks. He has sent me a text message and he said, that was so much fun. Thanks for having me on. Oh, Izaak, you're never coming on again.
Oh, I'll reply. Get a proper job, you jam eater.
He does. That's why he's off to work at 7 a.m. The Science Officer Synoiz has got a busy weekend ahead of him.
Oh God!
He's at many gigs. He's doing many things.
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. Well, as you are watching this, I will be performing in Newcastle at Rusty's Show Bar as one of 30 people. We're basically. As me and the other finalists for Mixed Drag Great Britain, we all have to raise as much money as possible for like our chosen charities. And what's happening tonight, tomorrow, whatever, is Dylan's doing a fundraiser, and there's 30 of us performing. 30 performers in one night.
30?
Yeah. So it's literally this crazy cabaret because everyone's turned out. Everyone wants to support each other like throughout this competition. So so basically. I'll be doing a turn, I'll be doing a number, I'll be doing some interviews with him and whatnot. And yeah, it's going to be a fun night, and hopefully it'll raise a nice little bit of money for his campaign. And then next week I'll talk about what's happening the week after then. But what I will mention, though, is my campaign. If you are watching this and you are a fan of me and you want to see me succeed in this competition, you can go to thevelvetsnatch.com/donate, and you can contribute a couple of quid to my campaign. And over the next couple of months, I'm going to be bringing out merchandise. I'm going to be doing lots of gigs and lots of events and whatnot. But it does help to kind of get some early donations in, which are quite fun, and it does help. But yes, there we go. That was my plug. Whee!
It was a good plug, and Science Officer Synoiz will also send me the links to put into the description that you see below.
thevelvetsnatch.com/donate. There you go.
I am doing many secret things, of which I can not say yet, but hopefully I may be in the future. I would like to plug the Obsidian Fleet, and I would like to thank the lovely Becca for sending me this mug.
It's very lovely.
You can tell it's a unicorn.
Oh my word.
Oh,
it's purple and rigid.
It's purple. There we go. Obsidian Fleet. I have had my Federation beverage, the root beer. Other than that, I have got nothing else to plug.
I was going to ask you. I totally forgot. You know how we were talking about that canar? How you can actually buy that canar? I was gonna say, like, when you were in LA, I was like, oh, can you order it to Mark's and then just bring it back with you? And then I totally forgot.
Or we can buy it at STLV.
Yeah.
And drink it in the hotel room and do a live podcast taste session.
On canar.
On canar.
Do you reckon they'll have people selling it there?
Damar on canar. Yeah, of course they will.
I'm tempted to see if we can order some, but order it to Mark and then get Mark to bring it. Because, yeah. Because we could buy like a full cask of it, like a full sort of, 10 bottles of it.
How much money do you think I have?
Well, right now, none. But, you've just spent like 2 weeks in LA. So.
For £2 a month, you can keep Captain Goodwill in the...
Yeah, actually, fuck my fundraiser.
To.
Give money to Goodwill. Keep Goodwill's Keating on. For just £2 a month, you can feed a Star Trek nerd. You can help him buy replica ships for the wall of bankruptcy.
I'm trying to think what I can sell, but I don't want to sell anything. This lovely, delicious, used A&W can be yours. Look, the DNA of Captain Goodwill is on the lid. You can clone me from this. Oh, what has my life become? Anyway, I think we should probably wrap this up before we both go crazy with exhaustion and illness, don't you, science officers?
I think we should.
Thank you
everyone for tuning in.
I
hope you've had fun in the live chat today. We need to get back to doing polls. We haven't done polls for the last couple of episodes, but
I know I've been a bit sore.
So busy.
I've been a bit sore, so I've held off on the polls lately. So please like, comment, and subscribe to Nerdy Up North. Please find us on all the social medias that are down in the description below. Please like it if you love Star Trek and you like our podcast. Please like all the podcasts that we've got down below. We've got Captain's Quadrant, we have got Unplanned Trek, we have got the Shuttlepod Show, we have got so many others. We have got Clone Star, who have just interviewed Blue DeBarrio from Star Trek Discovery, which is an amazing achievement for them. So well done to Mike and Joseph for that. That is absolutely fantastic. Please give them all the love that they need and they deserve. Tell them the captain and the science officer sent you, so we can get a kickback on commission. And we
bringing the moolah in.
Bringing the moolah.
I spend it on pizza.
I'm just hungry. So yeah. Until next week, my lovelies. I would like you to all stay safe, live long and prosper, and as ever, as we say every week. Miles?
Not now, Madeline!